live between now and 3 p.m. as the Blades get ready to host Huddersfield Town in the EFL Championship back on home soil. Slaviša Jokanovic's side will be looking to get their first win of the season and get the 2021-22 campaign up and running. Despite Wednesday night's disappointment away at the Hawthorns against West Bromwich Albion, the ambition from the club remains the same, to get back to the Premier League. And all of the twists and turns of the season ahead will unfold right here on your new matchday home. It's the Blades taking on the Terriers, and the next 55 minutes of build-up is completely free to all Sheffield United fans. Welcome once again to SUTV Live. Hello and welcome to SUTV Live with myself, Ashley Wilmot. Thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon. Now, due to broadcasting regulations, unfortunately, we're unable to bring you the match feed. But don't worry, because there's going to be lots of games that you can see right here on SUTV Live. For more information regarding the regulations, then just head to our website, sufc.co.uk. So, what's coming up on the show today? Let's take a little look. As always, I'm going to be joined by two guests. I'll introduce them in just a second. They'll be helping to bring all the build-up ahead of our 3 p.m. kickoff against Huddersfield. We'll also be taking a little look at the team news that broke a few moments ago. So we'll have a little look at that. We'll be taking a detailed look at how Huddersfield Town line up as well. Having a little look at what we need to do in order to break them down and get our first league win of the season. Slaviša Jokanovic will give his reaction to the West Brom defeat and tell us what we need to do to get things right today. And finally, we'll have an SUTV Live exclusive. Of course we will. So much to enjoy on today's programme. So thanks again for being here. So time to introduce my first guest. If you're a SUTV Live lover, then you'll definitely recognise him. It is, of course, the one and only Kevin Gage. Kevin, you right?
Yeah, it's a great build-up. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's lovely to have you here. Have you had a nice day?
So far, yeah. I hope the football doesn't ruin it. No,
me too. And to introduce my second guest alongside me today, it'll be the one and only Brian Dean.
How are you doing, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
How's your day been?
It's been okay. Spent a little bit of time on the motorway, looking at car registration plates, but what do you expect? We're not in lockdown anymore. So.
And you was telling us about your bacon sandwich earlier.
Oh yeah. Good at that now, especially on a Saturday morning.
Well, maybe you can start bringing them in. That'd be nice.
Be a bit cold by then.
Yeah. I think you might be right. We're going to take a little look at the Sheffield United lineup. Just have a little quick reaction to how we're looking ahead of our fixture today. There's 5 changes in our side. Yeah, lots of different names on the board compared to Wednesday night. Kev, what's your initial reaction there?
I have to say I'm absolutely delighted with some of the changes. Obviously, Ben Davies has been brought straight into the team, and the first thing that screams out is I think we're going back to the 3 centre backs with the wing back formation that served us so well in the past. I think it just suits the personnel we have in the club. So, as I say, absolutely delighted with that formation. It's a tried, trusted way of playing. The players know it, and I think we'll have a performance today. I think it'll be okay. Do
you agree, Brian?
I do, yeah. I think it's very important what Kevin's picked up on. The fact that in the past the recruitment has been around having 3 centre backs and the wing back situation. It's very difficult to try and implement a different system very quickly. Obviously, as the recruitment goes on, perhaps the manager wants to play with a 4 at the back, but I think that it's very sensible, and it's a trusted system that the players will know. You would think that as a result of that, they're going to come into this game at the beginning at least with a lot of tempo going into the first 10-15 minutes.
Well, there we go. We'll come back to how the teams line up in just well, later on in the show. I guess we need to firstly have a little talk about exactly what happened on Wednesday night against West Brom. Brian, I'm going to come to you. How are you feeling? Are you over it yet?
Yeah, well, look, it's early days. You know, I think one of the pivotal parts of the game was when West Brom went 1-0 up, we had an opportunity straight away to draw level. And unfortunately, you know, Dave missed the opportunity. And that starts to put pressure on the back four straight away. So it's a difficult one. It's a big game because West Brom are one of the teams that you expect to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season, and it's a big message from them. It's a huge message for them, and it's something that we have to look to put right straight away, just to make sure that confidence is renewed within the camp.
Indeed, and you both played in the same side. You were used to playing in that kind of way, those long throws, set pieces. You kind of understand, Kev, the theory of the kind of football they play, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. It was set pieces were a big part of the team that Brian and I played in, and we got a lot of joy from them, didn't we? In fact, you know, that first Premiership goal came from a long throw just down here. Yeah. Brad threw it on, flick on, and Dino was there to nod it in. So yeah, we understand how important they are. And I think on Wednesday, I'm gonna say it's probably a bit of a one-off game now, because you know, West Brom, there's not many teams play like West Brom, and not many teams are as good as West Brom at throwing those balls in and getting those corners in and putting so many bodies in the box, and they make it very, very difficult. They will make it very difficult for sides, and they made it very difficult for us, and we just couldn't cope with it. And if you take the set pieces away, you know, the game there wasn't much in between the two sides. We had a lot of possession. We didn't do much with it, but we had a lot of the ball. Just couldn't really make it count. But it was purely a one-off game, purely down to those set pieces. And the result of the game, kind of, you look at it, you think, oh, Sheffield United have got absolutely hammered there. Well, we didn't get hammered. We just lost 3 goals on set pieces, our mistakes, and it distorts your view of the game sometimes.
I mean, you just mentioned there, we did have, I think it was about 60% possession in that game. Brian, it's just a case of capitalising on that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you control so much of the game, you know, you have to make it count. You know, we've talked about the fact that West Brom had a lot of set pieces. I think in those situations, you know, that's where people have to really man up in the box and say, right, okay, I'm going to make sure that my man doesn't score. And then obviously at the other side of the pitch, if you're controlling the game, you know, you need to be able to put your chances away, you know, which we didn't. And of course, it's going to be a concern. We've used all 6 of our forwards in the first couple of games, and we're still trying to find the best combination. I'd like to see, you know, 1 or 2 of those guys up front now start to take control, you know, actually own the situation and say, look, I want to be the main man here, because it makes such a difference to everybody in the club, the manager, the fans. You know, everybody just wants to see somebody who's going to say, I'm going to take ownership of this situation.
That will really get the fans excited as well, won't it? Especially with so many we're expecting today as well. Absolutely.
You know, it'd be another big crowd here, local derby. And yeah, the fans now are going to be thinking, right, okay, we're coming, we're supporting, we're back in the stadium now. We want something to go home with this evening.
Kev, we want happy fans by 5 p.m, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. And we want to be 2 of them as well, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a big game for Sheffield United, isn't it? And at such an early stage in the season, you know, we don't want to fall too far behind. And we need to get a win on the board. And we need to get a good performance on the board as well, especially at home.
And like you say, it's very early days. Like, don't panic too soon, right? We've got a long season ahead of us, and we are just trying to find our feet at the moment, aren't we, Brian?
Yeah, again, you know, the managers come in. We have to take certain things into consideration. And we mentioned it before, the fact that we didn't have a good pre-season due to COVID. The manager came in quite late, didn't have a chance to really stamp his authority on the squad. But now he's starting to get to know everybody. We have to start looking at players being more consistent.
Now, from both of your playing experiences, is it fair to say, you know, sometimes having only 72 hours to mentally prepare for a game is a very short space of time? However, you just kind of want to keep the games flowing now, don't you, and just get into the rhythm of playing, Kev?
You do. That's more important when you're playing well. I think after a result on Wednesday, yes, you'd like to get out there and put it right, but if the team's not really functioning too well, I think we need time on the training pitch, and the manager needs a bit of time to implement his style and to get the players used to it. So I think we might suffer from playing all these games. Yeah. I think we've got a game next week in the Carabao Cup. I think he'll play some of the squad players in that, giving the first team more opportunity to work on the things that the manager wants to work on. So to go back to your point, I'm not sure it's great at the moment that the games are coming thick and fast, because I don't want us to get into this like downward spiral of, you know, not playing too well, not scoring, letting him making a few silly mistakes, and players not really understanding their roles or what the manager wants from them.
It's a great point, and I guess you have to think of it like it takes a while for any amount of people to gel as a side, especially your first team when you didn't have that pre-season, Brian.
Yeah, no, it's very important, and again we can talk about things. I like to think about some of the things that you don't see, and we're talking about the mental side of it and the characters and so on, and these are all factors that affect the players. You know, like you said, like Kevin's just made a point of saying that, you know, the manager needs time on the pitch to make sure that the players understand what he wants, for example. You know, that takes a little bit of time to sink in. So, you know, it is a real difficult time. And again, Kevin made an excellent point that when you're playing well and you are winning games, you want games Wednesday, Saturday. When you're not winning, you need time to analyse and understand what's going wrong.
And if we just focus our attention again to West Brom, they did have a good game, didn't they, Kev?
West Brom were very effective at what they did, both with the ball, with the set pieces, and also without the ball, because their pressing was quite amazing. And we picked it up on commentary. Me and Matt picked it up immediately. You know, we saw half the pitch, and there was 7-8 West Brom players pressing our defenders, and we passed the ball around at the back far too much, using the goalkeeper as well, and we just played into West Brom's hands really. So yeah, they're a very, very strong, effective side, and I think any team that is above them this season or in and around them, I think will probably end up getting promoted.
Would you agree with that, Brian?
I would, and again, you know, you're getting now they've had the benefit at looking at how Sheffield United are setting up. So as soon as they would have seen, you know, the setup of, say, the front two, they would have realised that there was very little threat in behind. So when that happens, it makes it easier for them to press quite high, because they know that obviously all the players are going to be directed in front of us. In front of them, rather, in front of their back players. So, yeah, I totally agree.
That's great to get your thoughts, and I don't know whether you want to close your eyes, and I don't know whether you want to relive it, but I have been told by the producer that the highlights I'm about to show you are only 1 minute long. So don't turn off, you can go and have a cup of tea if you want to. Let's take a little look at how it panned out on Wednesday night.
Surely going to be the toughest test to date for Sheffield United. That's clearance in, and the Gage flicks on. Billy Sharp with a chance. Great last-ditch challenge there. Billy Sharp's eyes must have lit up there. Held in once more. That's a good header, it's in, and this time it will count. Not sure it come off. I think Clark shaking his head. Maybe it came off a blade. Here's Billy Sharp. That's a lovely-looking ball. McGoldrick for Sheffield United, and he's put it wide. What's a chance for an instant riposte. Passion gets his head onto this one. Robinson looking to make amends. Norwood delivers. Egan rises. Here's the corner. Keeper comes. That wasn't convincing. It's still alive in there, and it's going to trickle in. And a disaster for Sheffield United. West Bromwich Albion have doubled their lead. We further behind here. Chance for Mowat, and it's 3-0. Alex Mowat. Playthrough on goal, guides it beyond Michael Verrips. Verrips has come, he's not got there, and it's a tap-in for Callum Robinson, the former Sheffield United striker. Well, he couldn't miss, could he there? Osborne's corner. McBurney's header, and that was Egan. Norwood, McBurney.
Okay, you can open your eyes again, guys. Brian, do you think things could have been different there if David McGoldrick had managed to score that chance he had after they scored their first goal?
Definitely. I think what that does is if he'd have scored, then it would have just calmed everybody down. It would have made the fact that we're playing an away game, we scored a goal so early, it would have just eased everybody's fears, you know. But if you don't take your chances, then the opposition are going to start to think, okay, well, we can go again. And so it proved.
And you know, how important is it when you do miss a chance to still have that faith in yourself and your own ability?
I think you have to, but I think that's built up over years. You know, you go through different times of crisis on the pitch, and you have to learn from each one. And again, it's, you know, I know I used to say to myself, okay, you got into the position, so you have to take the positives from that. Everybody deals with it differently, and I know when I've seen, I saw David, and you're looking at him, it's really affected him. Sometimes you just got to get your head down and say, okay, I'm going to score the next one. I'm going to score the next one. But it is a difficult situation when you're living it there and there. It's
definitely easier said than done to be able to mentally cope with that pressure as well, especially when you are in front of away fans.
It is, but look, let's not take this out of context. They're all professionals. We're professional. We're talking about professional football here, you know. Players are well looked after, they're well prepared now, and these are some of the things that you have to prepare yourself for, you know, when you're thinking about how I'm going to approach a game, what's going to happen in this situation, what ifs, you know, what am I going to do when this situation occurs. So, you know, we have to manage ourselves when we're on the pitch as well. You know, you can't ask the manager to do everything for you.
And speaking of the manager, Kev, what's been his most important role, do you think, between Wednesday and now? Is it tactics? Is it just like sorting mentality? What do you think?
Mentality is going to be a big part, yeah. I'm sure the manager will be very positive in how he's approached Thursday, Friday, and obviously this morning, and whatever he says to the team pre-match. I do know, I've had reports, and it's been confirmed to me, that the senior players on Wednesday in the dressing room immediately after the game kind of took charge, and the manager kind of sat back a bit and let rip, you know, having a go at each other, picking out various teammates and saying, you know, you're not doing your job, you're not doing this, not doing that. So hopefully we'll have cleared the air. Sometimes, as me and Brian know, with our experiences with Bassett and other managers, that's a good thing. You know, you can take something positive out of that, and everybody accepts, didn't do my job, wasn't up to standard today. We have to be better than that. And they come in Thursday, Friday, whenever it was, get on the training pitch, and you can try and put it behind you. So yeah, the manager plays a massively important part, and he will have set his team out today. We talked about time on the training pitch earlier. The good thing about this formation is you don't need too much time on the training pitch, because everybody knows that role. There's only Ben Davies coming in, and he's played left back before. He's played left centre half. It's a kind of combination of both. So no worries about that at all. And it's tried and trusted, as I said earlier.
I mean, you could actually see and feel the frustration of the players on Wednesday night. Brian, like Kev's just said, there was some words exchanged in the changing room after that match. Is it a case of just get out how you feel now and we'll just move on? That's kind of a growth development opportunity for the team, would you say?
I think it's got to be. I think you have to have some home truths, you know, and you know, body language says a lot for me, you know, and if you've got players who are kind of, you can tell sometimes watching a game who's shrinking, you know, and those, you know, you have to dig people out. You know, everybody has to have a say. And I think sometimes when you dig people out like that, then people realise that they can't hide, and that's their way of coming back. And sometimes it empowers people to be able to have their say and to think, okay, well, the eyes are on me. I've got to perform.
Exactly that. Right, great to get your thoughts, guys. But I think now it's time to hear from the man himself, Slaviša Jokanovic. He spoke to us after the game on Wednesday.
Well, Slaviša, how disappointed are you with that performance tonight? We must be disappointed. It's tough defeat for us. They won us, especially in physical battle. It's all the second ball. We was in the huge trouble after all the throw-ins and set play situation. At the end, if you are receive 3 goals after this kind of the situation and you are permanent in the danger situation, it's not comfortable for my team play tonight this game here.
What was the game plan? They seem to get caught between the two stools of trying to play it out from the back before going long.
Yes, in general line we have the space for combinate. At the end we didn't use it the switch. We didn't attack space behind of them. It's not question about shape. At the end of the game, I give them the opportunity to play some minute in the more or less natural way and natural shape. What they play before is probably they are move with more naturality and move more. But I didn't be disappointed how we play with the ball. At the end, is all the problem arrived to my team after the set pieces, and if we cannot stop, if we cannot be more comfortable in this kind of the situation, for another side, if we are not available for win second ball, it's a lot of the problem for us.
Does that particularly disappoint you? Because the first goal, there were 2 examples of it prior to that goal going in, weren't there? And they didn't learn from that.
Listen, we came here and didn't find it any surprise. We know what they will do. We are prepared the team for do this kind for defend this kind of the situation. We simply didn't be comfortable. We start to be panicked in some kind of this situation, and we pay expensive price.
Slavisha Jokanovic there speaking to SUTV Live after the game on Wednesday night. Didn't look particularly happy, did he, Kev?
Well, with good reason, yeah. Yeah, obviously a bit shell-shocked probably. Yeah. He thought he picked a team to deal with West Brom's threat. Clearly, we didn't. He mentioned it himself. He just picked up a few words he said on set pieces and second balls and things like that.
Physical battle as well.
We just lost. We just lost those physical battles when it was important to win them. From the initial header, from the long throws, from the corners. I mean, let's not make no bones about it. The keeper's, hasn't done himself any favours. He's had a horrendous debut there, and I felt for him actually on the night. So, but you can talk about formations, you can talk about 4 at the back, 3 at the back, wing backs, whatever you want to talk about. But if you don't deal with those set piece situations, you're not going to win many games, and you're going to be suspect all the time to those issues.
Back to that physicality. Do we need to be more physical, Brian? Do you think?
I think, personally, I think you have to stand up and be counted. Man to man. It's a very basic need and a very basic attribute that you have to have as a professional footballer, that you are gonna, if you're a defender or a goalkeeper, you know what's coming, and as a result of that, you have to prepare yourself. There's nowhere to hide out there. And I think looking at the manager after the game, I mean, he would have been absolutely furious. I'm telling you now, because I've been in that situation myself. And you try to calm yourself down because you're on camera, and you could literally see the steam, because these are basic things that, as a footballer, to get from the age of 10 to in your mid-20s, you have to have these things. So why are these not basic things that you have in your makeup?
There's lots of learnings, like we've said. Kev, you were going to add something there. You were halfway, you wanted to speak. What were you going to add? No,
I sensed a bit of frustration from Slav there as well, because I think deep down he probably realised that he'd picked the wrong side. He probably realised that after maybe 20 minutes, because we had very little threat at the other end. We didn't have anybody, you know, running in the channels or any pace in this side. Me and Brian were talking about it earlier. You know, Brian, I used to play the ball. I look up and I knew Brian would be getting down that channel, and I could just deliver the ball and he'd get on the end of it. I think some of the players were looking for runners, and we didn't have any forward players who would make those runs.
Yeah. It's about developing that trust, isn't it, as well? And like you say, knowing that without, you don't even have to look, you know that your player's going to be there.
I think, but I think sometimes it's based on abilities as well. I mean, we didn't have the pace of certain other players in the team that day. And again, if that's the team that you're going to play, then there has to be like a game management situation, perhaps somebody else making that run. But
well, let's turn our attention, I think, to how both sides line up ahead of our 3 p.m. kickoff. We'll start with the visitors. Huddersfield Town, let's have a little look at them. Now we've got, it's captained by Jonathan Hogg. He previously played for Aston Villa and Watford. There's also the goal getter Josh Koroma and wildcard Jordan Rhodes. Thoughts on the team? Are they going to be a physical side? Maybe not quite as physical as West Brom. Kev?
No one's as physical as West Brom.
Fair to say.
They're a different team completely. I mean, this is what this division is all about. You play Swansea last week, who like to pass the ball, you know, all the way through the team, and then you go to West Brom, who don't pass it very much at all and hit you with their physicality and their aggression and their pace and their power. And then again, you've got Huddersfield, and we're going back to a Swansea situation. They do like to pass the ball, and they like to pass the ball out from the back and work through the thirds. Yeah, for another foreign manager. I believe he was Belsa's assistant at Leeds, wasn't he?
Yeah,
so
he was
a lot of influence there. They'll try and they're not just going to sit back and let us come at them. So they will try and push on and pin us back in and defend the high press, as everybody calls it these days. I must confess I don't know too much about the Huddersfield team. Nobody really stands out. It's not about them, is it, today? It's about us.
It is about us.
It's about what Sheffield United do. Yeah. Full stop.
Indeed. And like you just mentioned actually there, Chris Morgan, he spoke to Paul Walker on SUTV Live on Wednesday night. And Chris was saying, we are to expect a totally different game with a different game plan, Brian. Do you agree with that? Is that right?
Absolutely. You know, we're at home. It's, for me, the first 10-15 minutes has got to be about tempo. You've got to set your stall out. You know, you've got to let Huddersfield know that they are in crisis. You know, we have got to get after them. If you let a away team come here and get settled, you know, play 2 banks of 4 and just say, okay, go from side to side without any kind of pace in your team, it's very hard to change your tempo in game. You know, we have got to get after this side. Well,
what side are we going to get them with? So let's have a little look. There is 5 changes to the side. We welcome Fotheringham, Brewster, McBurney, our new signing Ben Davies, and Norrington Davies there. Verrips, Sharp, Robinson, Osborne, and McGoldrick all drop to the bench. 5 changes, Brian. Mm-hmm. What do you make of those?
I think they're good. I think, you know, when I saw Ryan Brewster after he'd scored his goal, you could see that he was starting to think, okay, I need to start taking the shackles off now. I've got my goal. You know, there's a nice contrast with McBurney, who should, you know, he's all round kind of hold up play. He can play in the channels. I think that bodes very well, and we've got the wing backs. I would like to see our forwards spend more time in the box, you know, and us play as if that is the end goal, to get balls in the box. That's how you win games. You don't win games by playing square balls across midfield or across the back.
Kev, your initial thoughts on our squad today?
Yeah, well, Brian's focused on the forwards because he was a striker, so I'm going to go to the other end of the pitch. And I'll start with Fotheringham, which we haven't seen a lot of him, but the very fact he's played nearly 150 games for Rangers, you know, tells you that he's got to be a half-decent keeper. So looking forward to seeing him play, and I wish him all the best. Really, really happy that we've gone back to 3 centre-halves. I think it suits the personnel, and that's I've no particular desire to play 3 centre-halves. In my career, we didn't play it much. And we was 4-4-2, weren't we, or 4-2-4? Have played the wing back position myself, so I know about it. But I just think it suits the players we have at the club. It suits Chris Basham to a T. It suits John Egan to be that central centre back, where you can do a bit of sweeping up, a bit of organising. And the lad Ben Davis we've already talked about, he's a cultured left-footed centre back, so it suits him as well. Burge, Fleck, Norwood in midfield, we know what we're getting from them. And then Brian's touched on the forward players, and I think they could be a really good combination given a few games. I think these two up front, Brewster and McBurney, I think is possibly a combination that will fire us up the league. I really do genuinely think that.
I think you've just touched on it there, but it's going to be exciting, isn't it, with those two at the front, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. But I remember McBurney when he came down here and played for Barnsley, and he absolutely ripped us to shreds. They played together at Swansea. They both played for Swansea in the same division. I think they did play together, didn't they, for a while? I think there was a decent combination there. But Brewster's already proved himself in this division, so he needs to do it again. And he's got all the attributes to be a top striker. Obviously, he's played for England under 21s, under 23s, scored umpteen goals as well. So yeah, they've got a bit of everything, bit of pace, bit of height, bit of ability on the ball, bit of technique. I'm looking forward to seeing them regularly play together.
Me too. I'm excited for today. I think we're in for a good game. And speaking of Ollie McBurney, I had a little chat with him a little while ago. Let's take a look at what he had to say. First league start of the season, back at Bramall Lane in front of loads of fans. How are you feeling?
Yeah, excited. You know, it's been a while since since I've been back starting, so it's good to be back, and hopefully we get a good result.
You're a Yorkshire man in a Yorkshire derby. Does that make it a little bit more special?
Yeah, I think so. A few of my friends are here today and stuff, and it's always good to be involved in Yorkshire derby. So hopefully the atmosphere will be good, and we can get the result.
Now we're coming off a heavy defeat on Wednesday against West Brom. Is it a case of we just put that behind us and just crack on with things? Fresh start today.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's one of the good things about playing in the Championship is that there's so many games, and you know, after a bad result, you can go straight into the next one and kind of put that one straight behind you. So that's what we're trying to do today.
And how has the feeling in camp been in the last 72 hours?
No, you know, obviously there was that initial disappointment. You know, it was an embarrassing result for us, and it hurt us. So, but it wasn't nice. But you know, like you say, we need to put that in the past and crack on with today, and hopefully make that result right.
And talking of today, how are Sheffield United going to be able to break down a side like Huddersfield Town?
You know, it's down to us. You know, it's down to us. We've looked at how they play and worked out ways that we can get at them. So hopefully we can get at them and hurt.
Thanks for chatting with us, Ollie, and best of luck today.
Cheers, thank you.
Do you think some of his teammates there were trying to distract him from my interview, Brian?
Listen, we all did the same, didn't we?
No one wants to be in front of camera, do they?
Not at this time of the day, no.
Well, lucky enough, I've got you two who are happy to be here. I hope so, anyway. He was talking about embarrassment there. Yeah. That is a word that's been thrown around since Wednesday. How does that make you feel, thinking about when you used to play and having that feeling as well?
It's, you know, look, I mean, we've just been relegated from the Premier League, and you get beaten by one of your rivals, you know, so straight away people are making an assumption about Sheffield United, and it's going to reflect on the players, and that's the embarrassment that he's talking about. You know, we've, in his mind at that particular moment, we've fallen so far, and again, we talk about them lifting themselves now. They, you know, I'm glad to hear that they've had a little bit of a set to in the changing rooms, because this is all part of character building. It's so important.
Positive vibes only, eh, Kev?
Yes, absolutely.
As you can hear that music as well coming from the stadium. If you take a little look behind us, they're all warming up. They're getting ready for kickoff at 3 p.m. It's a Yorkshire derby, Kev. It's going to be a good one, isn't it?
It will be a good one, yeah. I mean, every home game's a good one here, because the fans come in their numbers. They're very vocal. they always get behind the team. I mean, absolutely fantastic support. Even at West Brom 4-0 down, you can still hear him singing. I believe the tickets to Luton the next week sold out within 5 hours as well. So that tells you everything about the Sheffield United fans. So they always support in their good numbers. As I say, always very vocal, always get behind the team. So yeah, looking forward to the game today.
Just a word on Huddersfield head coach Carlos Corberán. It's his first head coach job in England. Brian, what kind of style of play do you think we're going to expect?
I mean, he was at Leeds and he played under, he coached under Bielsa. He took the under-23s. For me, it's going to be a very that kind of style where they're looking at technical players, a little bit of ball possession and so on. Is it suitable in this division to really make an impact? I think there's kind of an argument for yes, but let's wait and see. I'm not totally convinced with what I've seen of their results last season.
Well, let's wait and see indeed. Just a little reminder for you now. SUTV Live will be bringing you all the build-up ahead of kick-off this afternoon at 3 p.m. So we've got 20 minutes to get yourselves ready for the game. Due to broadcasting regulations, unfortunately, we're unable to bring you the match feed on this platform, but please be reassured we'll be bringing every game that we possibly can to you right here. For more details, do head to our website. You know what it is. It's sufc.co.uk. Now let's take a little look at what's coming up after today. Tuesday the 24th next week, 7:45 p.m. we face Derby County in a cup game. And then of course, it's the big one. We face Luton Town on Saturday. Kickoff, another 3 p.m. kickoff, we'll be pleased to know. And that's, of course, that's available to watch overseas as well. Now, I don't know if you guys have got your kit sorted yet, but we've got lots of deals in the shop, both right here at Bramwell Lane and online, of course. Make sure to head online. The website is sufc.direct.co.uk. Everyone loves a bargain, so grab yourself one. Brian, have you made any purchases yet?
Do you know how old I am?
Everyone needs a water bottle, don't they?
Okay, I'll take a water bottle, but I think I'm past the hoodie stage now.
I think that pink shirt would suit you, to be honest.
Maybe with a white stripe.
Yeah, exactly. Pink might be your colour, Kev. Come on.
Pink's not my colour.
Kevin's a man's man, I could probably get away with it,
A man's man can pull off salmon pink. I'll let you know that for sure. Right, so we've done the shop. I've actually been there today. I love it. I love going and have a little nose. So make sure if you're down at Bramwell Lane, you head to the shop just to take a little look at what we've got in store for you. Now, speaking of what's in store, we've got a great SUTV Live exclusive for you. It's time to hear from George Baldock, who spoke to Matt Youngs yesterday about how he's been feeling ahead of the game today.
Well, George, first of all, how's training been over the last couple of days? The lads relishing getting back on the park and looking to put things right again on Saturday?
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about the Championship. Games come around so fast, and we want to put that one behind us as quick as we can. And, we haven't started great. We all know that, but we're eager to put some positive performances together and score some goals and win games.
Generally, when there has been a disappointing result, the consensus is you do want the games to come thick and fast. Is that how you feel? You just want to get straight back in the park and
yeah, 100%.
Try and put it to bed?
Yeah, definitely. As soon as the game's finished, obviously you're absolutely you're down about it. You're gutted. You're a bit embarrassed the other night, but like I said before, it's good that we've got a game so close, and just want to go and put things right and and really kickstart our season.
Obviously not the start you wanted, but it's worth reminding everyone it's still very early days. I think at this stage last season, the Saturday coming up, I think Norwich only had 4 points and they went on to win the league last season. So is it just worth keeping everything in perspective? Still very early in the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a new culture, new management team. Everything will take time. We've kind of played a similar way for so long, 5 years now, and it definitely takes time. But the manager's been brilliant. His his knowledge and philosophy of the game is brilliant, and you know, I'm sure it will click, and when it does, I think we'll be a force.
Internally, a lot of people saying good things about Stefan Sukanovic. You just said so yourself. He doesn't have a record at this level that he does without being good, does he? He's good, like I said, it'll take time, but what's going on behind the scenes is promising, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. His training sessions are brilliant. You know, everyone's been treated fairly. You know, he speaks to any lads. His door's always open for anyone to go and speak to him. And you know, he's like I said before. You know, we need to be better on the pitch. You know, we get all the information we need, and he goes through everything, just like any good coach will do. And you know, it's up to us players now to go out and take that responsibility on and perform. And we haven't done that yet. But like I said, I'm sure it will click. And when it does, I think we'll be a real force.
Another mentality is you don't look for excuses at all, but it is perhaps worth mentioning it's not been the ideal pre-season, has it, with what's happened and the build-up, and when you're working under a new system, that's kind of where the bread and butter of that work goes in, isn't it? So, you know, how difficult has it been in that respect, and, you know, when things catch up, how confident are you that they will click into gear pretty soon? Yeah,
I'm really confident, like I said. You know, I think, you know, I don't like excuses either, and, you know, a lot of clubs will have been hit hard by obviously COVID and interrupting their pre-season, but you know, it wasn't ideal to be at home for 10 days and miss out at a key part, and most importantly miss out on games where, you know, the manager can really, you know, implement what he wants. We're almost playing a bit of catch up, but like I said, you know, we still have enough quality to have got points by this stage of the season, and you know, we need to be better as players. How much are you looking forward to Saturday and playing under another bumper crowd at Bramall Lane? We had 29,000 for the first game. Be close to something similar, I would expect. Yeah, obviously, I think, you know, that's what we play football for these kind of occasions, in terms of, you know, playing for a club, and you know, we're lucky enough to play for a club that has such a good following home and away. I can't wait to get back to Bramall Lane, especially at a 3 o'clock kickoff as well. I've missed that. I feel like it's been years since we played a 3 o'clock kickoff at home, especially with fans. But yeah, no, can't wait. You know, they're brilliant with us. Even the other night, when we let them down, you know, they were still good at the end, and obviously a bit of frustration, but that's totally understandable. And you know, we were just as disappointed in the dressing room. So yeah, can't wait to try and put on a show and get 3 points for them. It's definitely worth mentioning that the 3 o'clock kickoff. I mean, I don't think you've had many of those over the last 12, 14, 16 months either. I mean, does that come into the mindset? Is it nice to finally just get back to a normal routine again, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, fans in the stadium? Yeah, I think so. Like I said, again, it's excuses, and you know, we're not looking for those. But you know, I for one can't wait for a 3 o'clock kickoff, and the atmosphere. Even though the atmosphere at Bramall Lane is fantastic, anytime we play, you know, those 3 o'clock games are good, and you know, it's what we're used to. Yeah, it should be a good occasion. And like I said, if we start well and put on performance, you know, the fans will be right on our side. And you know, it's like this old cliche, but like the 12th man, and yeah, they're probably the best fans in the league. Just jumping ahead slightly and looking at Tuesday night, the potential maybe, if you're selected and your brother's selected, of coming up against your sibling, because he's just signed for Derby County, hasn't he? Yeah, it's crazy how football works. You know, a couple of weeks ago he's unemployed, and you know, and everything like that, and I get back on the bus being so low about, you know, losing 4-0, and you know, I had to have a little smile for a couple of seconds when I heard he scored the winner, because it's nice for him. But yeah, fully focused obviously on Sheffield United. If we play, it's not really an occasion anymore, because we've done it quite a few times now, and yeah, it's just one of them things. But yeah, it'd be nice to see him, and hopefully we win. If you don't, obviously potentially coming back in the league not too far away as well. I mean, would you talk in the build up to these type of games? And you've played against Uchi before, like you mentioned. Yeah, but we've got to a point now. We've both been in football for quite a long time now, and realised that it's quite a stressful kind of business. You know, it has real effects on your life and your home life. So, you know, win, lose, draw. It's so hard to stay level-headed and balanced. So we tend not to talk too much about football. We're good friends anyway, and yeah, he knew not to ask me about how our game went the other night, and yeah, it wasn't until last night that I actually asked how his game was. So you know, football comes second, obviously, and you know, just family first.
Great to hear from George Baldock there. Oh, look at the fans arriving. He looks like a happy boy there with his dad. Lots of people starting to make their way to Bramall Lane, ready for kickoff. That is just 15 minutes away now. And And we see the keeper here just warming up. Just here, there we go. He looks ready, his day has come. Today is the day, isn't it?
Looks like Conor Ben.
Well, oh, I'm starting to get really excited. We can hear the music coming from outside, so the atmosphere feels like it's really building now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great stadium, you know, as the anticipation starts building near to kick-off, and then the players will go in now and then they'll come back out and it's like electric, you know.
It is indeed.
Great.
Now, just going back to what George was talking about there, Kev, you played in the same position. I know you're a big fan of him, aren't you? Yeah,
he's done really, really well over the past couple of seasons. I've actually been critical to an extent of him in the past because sometimes his final delivery hasn't been as good as I'd expected. But defensively he's always been very, very sound. But in the last 18 months or so, his game has really come on and he's created an awful lot. His crossing's been excellent, good decision making, and he's been a real positive this season actually. It's one of the plus things to come out of it. You know what you're getting from George Baldock. He scuttles up and down the right hand side, often on his own, you know, ploughing a lone furrow up there. Yeah, it's been really, really good. It was interesting that he chose him to do the interview there, and it's interesting what he had to say. Yeah, it was really nice to hear from him, and it's great to get his thoughts. Brian, he did mention as well, they've played a very similar style of football for the last 5 years. So is it fair to say it's no wonder that it's taking a little bit of time to get used to a new manager and a new style of play? Definitely, but the thing about what he's saying there is they understand the distances and the options that they've got in front of them. I mean, George has been a fantastic player in that position, so I'm sure that he'll be looking forward to the game because, like, you know, they've reverted back to the 3 centre backs with the wing backs, so he'll be very comfortable going out there today. And I also think that it's something that the players will take on board. They will definitely approach this game with more confidence because it's a system that they know. And Kev, your thoughts on what? Yeah, also just what Brian's going on from what Brian's just said there. Another point to consider is Baldock's had a bit of competition, hasn't he? When Bogle came in last season, he's now got real competition on that right hand side, and Bogle's proved himself to be a very adequate replacement. And got a couple of games there last season, so I think that's impacted a good way on George Baldock, and we need that kind of competition through the rest of the squad. So if the manager's looking to bring in his 4 or 5 signings, yes, that helps everybody, but it raises everybody's level of commitment and performance in the team. Baldock is bringing his A game, and so you better be in commentary because I'm getting called in my ear that it is time to say goodbye. Kev, it's great to have your thoughts today. Thank you for being here. Now, Brian, I think it's time. We did hear from Slaviša Jokanovic earlier on in the show. He was talking to us about his thoughts on West Brom, but he's been having a little chat with SUTV Live ahead of today's fixture at 3 p.m. So let's get his pre-match thoughts now.
This is a team with great habit for play with the ball. They try combine from the build up. For be honest, didn't find it enough. They are not like us. They didn't created a lot of the things, but this experienced Champions League team with Spanish coach with some style. What we more or less people from this part of the world know what we can expect of him. Like is similar that he can know more or less what he can expect for our side. It's one team what I repeat respect, but we are in some kind of the situation, especially front of our people after this point in the playing in Birmingham and in front of the lot of our supporters, and if we have news is sold out for the Luton game, and 100% tomorrow will be important entrance. We need to be care about us. We need to be ready for the mark our territory and be ready for the fighting for the first victory this season. Is of course our job is analysis everything what they are doing, but for another side, it depends if it's Huddersfield another thing. We must to be with clever and with right mind for push hard for first victory this season.
So some thoughts there about our opposition today.
Yeah.
A mention of the Spanish coach that they've got,
Yeah.
and that he respects the opposition, but obviously they want to make their mark today and get smiles on the supporters' faces. That's important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like we said, it's because it's a local derby. You know, everybody's going to be coming here with expectations. Everybody wants those bragging rights. I do feel that the coach of Huddersfield is still finding his way in this division. And I think Slav has actually pointed that out to a degree. But yeah, I think it's an excellent opportunity for us. I think that tempo is very important. And when I say tempo, it's got to be, you know, tempo to get, you know, us playing forward. I don't mean just crashing balls forward. I mean playing with that kind of, that impetus that is going to be looking to say, okay, well, you know, let's get on top of them at home.
And it's about playing with that intention, isn't it? That first goal today is going to be big.
It's going to be huge, and again, you know, it's about confidence. I think that reverting to this formation will just give us a little bit of a confidence boost. But again, you know, I think he's picked a side that has got legs and potentially has got goals in. Kevin mentioned that perhaps Bernie and Brewster actually played together, so let's see. I really think that this could be a good game to kickstart the season.
So they'll be in the dressing room right now, just mentally preparing. What would be going through your mind at this moment?
I'll be praying about now. Yeah, no. In all seriousness, you're just kind of getting yourself to the point where, right, okay, these are my jobs. You know, I've got to do this. The centre half does this. You know, George is going to, you know, we're looking at to get into these areas of the field very quickly. And it's just reiterating those points, because if you don't, you know, everybody's going to be slapping each other on the back now and trying to get, you know, the heart rate up now. This is the time now where you have to be at that level where you're ready to step over that line.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, Brian, but I think it's about time we get a little prediction, score prediction from yourself, so I can hold it against you at full time.
Thanks for that. Well, again, you know, I think the first 15 minutes are important. I'm very interested to find out how we start the game. I feel that if we can get a goal early, or at least exert some pressure early on, I think it bodes well. I'd like to think that we can perhaps win this game by the odd goal. I think, you know, asking anything else other than 3 points would be, you know, a little bit fanciful.
We just want the 3 points.
3 points for me, please.
Thanks so much for being here, Brian. We'll be back with you at half-time, but right now it's time to hand you over to our commentary team, Matt Youngs and Kevin Gage. Enjoy the game.